It's a hot take with two sugars. We need a coffee intro. We need like a theme song at the start that like takes like sound bites like, it's just Business Kirk. Oh, coffee. Goodbye to soy milk. It's just coffee.
Well, I had one that was kind of like a compilation. It's like for my old podcast was the Quentin Tarantino.
Oh, yeah.
I don't fucking get my coffee, so okay, I'm the one that buys it.
Oh, that's why you were so hot when we were talking about Quentin Tarantino's coffee shop. You were hot off the press with a take on that.
I do. I'm up to date.
But we've got a music producer now. I just like to abuse him and just like get him to make everything. Also, for one of our clients that we work with, we need to do like a symphony of coffee tools of all the parts like working and...
I got that.
Well, maybe we can borrow some of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's all over the news one. But yeah, I've already sampled a lot of it.
What are we doing? Liam, intro us in. The Lame Man.
That's the lame man?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just sticking with it. If we got any nicknames for Liam that we think stick, I'm loving Lame Man.
And then what do we got? So I'm lame man. We've got Small Business Kirk. And then we've got Jabba the Hutt, right?
Yeah, Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah. Welcome back to another week of, it's coffee break. We're fresh out of the episode with breakfast shirts. Just getting my levels right. But
for any of those listeners that are new, coffee break, this is just where it's kind of like, remember when they had those talking shows after like Game of Thrones or Walking Dead, like The Talking Dead? This is our version of that. Just a little time to chat.
Well, I always watch Star Wars Theory.
Oh,
He's like a Star Wars streamer, and I always watch his content after I've watched a Star Wars show.
Yeah.
So, this is kind of like...
Yeah, exactly. It's our little like time to digest, take in what we've listened to and give our thoughts.
Mark was an interesting chat.
Yeah,
right? He was very good to talk to on off air as well, but I found him to be very interesting guy who carries a notepad around keeping receipts of people they don't like.
Yeah, I know. I was like, thank God, hopefully I don't make it into that book.
Well, I haven't made it in yet.
Yeah, we haven't made it in yet. He's one of those dudes, and I mean, another theme that seems to be popping up on this podcast a bit is the staying away from alcohol. He's one of those guys that, he's very fit. The dude's jacked. And he's so busy. He has a million projects going at once. He's got his breakfast shirts, his tours, his content, his collaborations. He's starting that new, like the coffee soap thing that he's like selling to like get funds going, and all of it's so well intentioned. I love that he's not like me, not like any of the others, just like a sellout where you're like, yeah, what can we do? He's like, he wants to stick to his guns and represent himself in the way that he wants to be represented.
I loved hearing about his stories where he gave the opportunity to the big banks to jump on board with one of his like kind of community initiatives.
Yeah. And when it didn't work out, he was like, no, they were great about it. Didn't work out. We had to pull the plug on that, but that's the way it is.
And now he's like doing it again. He's like building something else. He's like, now I know how to do that. I'm just going to back myself.
Casually dropped that he's single in there too. Mentioned he went on a date and maybe he's fishing for some of the ladies.
I know there's a few of those videos that he has. He has one of his, I think it's like his niece or something chatting to him on his channel where she's like, why are you single? Aren't you like old? And he's like, I'm 30. And she's like, you'll be dead by 40. And he was like, what? Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
I joke about that with KP, but no, spring chicken there.
Yeah,
it's a little early to be calling that.
No, but he's great. And I think the thing that I love seeing the most is when he's doing that breakfast tour, traveling around to all the local cafes, like the difference that would make, like bringing people experiencing new little places they might not have been. That's the kind of injection of life that you want to see into the hospo industry.
Hot take review. So he said that Melbourne baristas aren't as friendly as Sydney, let's just say.
Yep.
What was your thoughts?
I find that one, it's a hard one to kind of, for me to digest. I probably don't, like I was saying, I need to start going out more so to a breakfast spot once a week. So again, like I said, send it in if you've got any that you'd like me to check out. But not tooting my own horn a little bit, but it's like, obviously the coffee industry is small. I feel like a lot of the places will know us or know me when I go in. So I'm generally getting pretty nice, lovely greetings from the baristas and that kind of stuff.
Maybe I should do it and be a bit more low key.
Oh yeah, do it undercover. But I can imagine Melbourne, we do think we're pretty cool. We probably think, but I can't imagine that Sydney would think they're any less cool than Melbourne. I don't
kind of expected Sydney to be a bit more.
Yeah.
So is that
No, Melbourne
coming from
kind of has the all black, cold weather pretentiousness. Also, we like to tout we're the best coffee, and Sydney doesn't hold a bar to us. So I can kind of understand that coming in. I mean,
Sydney has a more relaxed attitude amongst the population, though. Like, having lived I grew up on the Central Coast, so now the northern Sydney. I would say people in Sydney are more relaxed than people are in Melbourne.
Yeah. I would also say sometimes when you have we've got another guest coming in here, we've got some food delivery.
It's like they wait until we're doing a podcast.
No one comes in otherwise.
So who's the offender? Harry?
We've got Harry ruining. Not only is he ruining a shoot out the back.
Did you get a pizza?
He's ruining our podcast here.
What is it?
Nacho bowl.
A nacho bowl.
Oh, mate. Oh, this dude does. He gets obsessed with one thing. For about 3 months straight, he just ate tuna and rice every single day. He's probably going to die from mercury poisoning. And now he's just on the Mexican trend. He started with Guzman, and now he's moved on to, what is it?
Zambrero.
Zambreros, because it's cheaper, more value for money.
All right.
He also tries to cop free food by making us buy stuff so he can cop the free nachos. Biggest stinge going around. Harry, come back here. Say hello to the people. Get on camera so they can know you are. Harry works with us. He's one of the filmmakers, one of the editors. What have you ordered?
Zambrero.
Can we open it up and get a little review here on the pod? I want to see what the quality of this looks like. What we're doing. I've never had Zambreros.
I think you're really going to love this.
I lived in San Francisco with some of the best Mexican food going around, so I don't know how.
It doesn't look too bad.
That looks all right.
Yeah.
Pretty fresh.
The chips look a bit crap, but that's a healthy little dollop of guac. Got some nice tomatoes there.
Do we have a health rating there, Rohan?
Not great. Too much sour cream.
Man, you better get this out of here before Rohan just eats the whole thing.
Just face first in there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thanks, Harry.
Yeah. Sorry, am I going a bit too far with all these jokes? Because I'm having a lot of fun
No,
with it.
you go. I don't care. Go for it, man.
Hey, who was that Business Kirk guy?
No, Business Kirk.
Yeah.
I know. That was a total... I'm glad to have you back in this nice shirt because that guy was an absolute douchebag.
Well, he was, but I've got this breakfast shirt going. I didn't think it was too bad.
No, you liked him?
Yeah, he was all right. Good looking guy.
So I'm showing we didn't get it on the last one, but Mark was lucky enough to leave us a breakfast shirt. Obviously likes Kirk more because he left it to Kirk, but it's a good looking fancy shirt.
I feel like I could go on summer vacation with this one.
Absolutely.
Going to the Bahamas to have a few iced lattes, pina coladas, so to speak. But
it looks good. And for those that are listening,
give us a visual.
I guess
description.
the history of it was that it was It was party shirts.
I think the long story to it was that he went out for breakfast one day. Everything was dirty. All he had was this outrageous shirt in the cupboard. He's like, "Screw it, I'm wearing it." He went in. They're like, "What are you wearing?" And he's like, "It's my breakfast shirt." And then that group of friends decided they'd wear those fancy shirts every single time they go out. And that was the start of breakfast shirts.
And so Kirk's been given this beautiful green kind of flowered patterned party shirt, but it's a
kind of
breakfast shirt.
Mix of Hawaiian party shirt.
Yeah.
It's got a good vibe.
And I will wear it well. But I kind of liked having the, just giving up my seat for a day and allowing Breakfast Kirk to come on the pod.
Breakfast Kirk?
It's Breakfast Kirk now.
Breakfast
Kirk. Sorry, I'm not as refined as he is. But yeah, it seemed like he was on his stuff. Had a slightly low pitch for the whole episode.
I mean, I'm not condoning it and I feel a little sad about it, but I feel like there could be a whole series of Kirks making their way onto the podcast.
Well,
I love as well this joke. You've really got to play into the character because this is largely an audio medium. Yes, we do record this and have it as video, but it's largely audio. So the joke of you being in a full suit didn't play out to a lot of people.
No, I actually...
Did I even describe it?
I pre-warned Kirk. I was like, I know you're doing a bit, but I need you to be very... verbalize what people are saying.
Right. I think I did say he's pulled up in a full suit.
Yes.
I think.
And I introduced him as well.
Yeah, but Business Kirk had a slightly lower pitch.
Oh, yeah.
Throughout the entire episode. So
I know, it just felt like it was just more boring.
And
I was going to say, you're actually a lot more... There was... you weren't as Kirkful.
Well, I was sorry. I keep talking in I. Business Kirk is a slightly more nuanced guy. Probably a bit more stoic than I am.
Yeah.
I haven't known him for that long.
Yeah.
But he keeps it pretty chill.
Yeah.
Keeps it pretty chill.
Do you know who I want to give a shout out to?
Who?
And now, do I start the shout out with my kind of main start to it?
Yeah, go on.
Market Lane Coffee.
Mm.
In the past, it's always high quality, good quality stuff, good beans and all that kind of stuff. But the the roast profile was always on the little lighter side to me, especially the filters. I never found that it had that kind of body that I wanted. And that's a very particular choice, obviously. There's no diss on them. That's just my thought. But lately I feel like they've really lifted that game. Like I've been having some of the seasonal espressos and that down at the Queen Vic Market, and I've really been enjoying them. They've been really good.
You said that like you went straight to Market Lane post airport, right? After your Europe trip.
Yeah, it was the morning after. So I got back in the night, and then just because I wanted to get up, I was like, I'm going to go to the Queen Vic Market, do a big shop. Went in there, got a double spreezy seasonal blend. It was great.
I've been going to a place called Fieldwork Coffee across the road from my house. So I've just moved around the corner, Fitzroy North.
Wait, you're Fitzroy North now?
Yeah, for a little while. I'm here until September, and then I've got to find the new place. But,
all right. Now we're getting into the personal stuff here.
Yeah.
So I know you've got a partner. What's happening there? Are you moving into still by yourself, or are you taking that leap? Throwing him in the deep end.
You're throwing us into the deep end.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to have to plead the fifth on that one. But, we'll
Does she listen to this?
I don't know.
Oh, I reckon that would be a good, like, do you reckon that's intense kind of partner thing if they like secretly listen to your podcast without telling you, just to try to get all the inside goss?
Well, it's a reputable program. I'm sure many people listen to it. I wouldn't blame her.
Oh, no, I know. But if I felt like if a partner was listening, they'd tell you like, oh, I listened to your episode this week, you know. Like my partners, not all of them, but she's definitely listened to a few of them. She probably would aim for the ones that are maybe less coffee nerdy. Like she loved like the Jen Fricker episode and doing that.
My dad's been listening.
Oh, yeah.
It's always interesting to hear. Like I've got a lot of people that come up to me in the street or at the coffee shop now that say, oh, I saw you on TikTok, or oh, I listen to this. It's very interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy how quickly it can kind of go out there. I mean, that LD, we've had like an LD video, the Good Measure Boys talking about their Mont Blanc went pretty crazy. Not crazy, you know, 100,000, 150,000 plays and that kind of thing.
Kind of funny. KP only just watched and listened to an episode, and it happened to be the one she's in.
Oh, how surprising.
So she had incentive, and she was like, you do a really good job. And it was really good. I was like, thank you. It's only our 20th episode.
Did she just compliment you, or was it the whole organization?
I'm not really. No, I think it was everyone. And
how
she was like,
I've listened to the first like 8 episodes, and we were doing notes in that. I haven't listened as much lately.
Bro. And to anyone listening, I feel like we can all agree that the audio quality and a few things, we're tuning them in. We're tuning them in. I actually had a lot of fun editing our latest episode, and it sounded beautiful.
Oh, nice. Sonam did mention that the audio on that was sounding really good.
Well, soon we'll have, because we're growing at such an exponential rate, soon we'll probably have a standalone studio.
Yeah, we'll have a studio, a constant setup somewhere soon.
We don't have people delivering Mexican and whatever else is happening.
That's kind of fun, you know. Adds a bit of adds
a bit of value.
Yeah,
as I was saying.
Well, we're doing it in our Golden Browns or pizza shop studio right now. We do have a spare room with a grease trap in it out the back that we could soundproof, and you know, it'd look beautiful, just smell really bad.
You can get a couple of diffusers.
Oh, there you go. I like that.
Right.
Yeah, maybe we can get a sponsor that's like scented candles or something.
Yeah,
you know? That could be the sell. It's like makes even the smelliest room okay. That'd be a great. Yeah. If you make a product for Breeze, something out there that makes stinky rooms inhabitable, we're the pod for you.
Sorry, habitable.
Oh,
just habitable.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, not inhabitable. Sorry, habitable. Yeah.
Speaking of which, we have some.
We've got some people writing in.
Who wants to go first? Do you want to go first?
Yeah, you go.
Well, this one's from Tan Watkinson. She asks, she says, "Hi guys. First of all, love the podcast. Thanks, Tan. Question 1: what is your advice for someone like me who wants to start their own small coffee shop? Kirk said on an episode, double the amount of savings you have, whilst Poor Boy in San Fran started with little to no money. Now, it sounds like Poor Boy in San Francisco. I'm not saying you can't finesse it on a low budget, but I'm just saying more often than not, and based on my experience and some other people I've talked to, be prepared for the worst, you know, because things just come at you from all sorts of angles. And you look at someone like what's his name? Homeboy on Instagram or TikTok. Yep. He managed to finesse it seemingly off a low budget and did quite well. So I'm not saying it can't be done, but yeah, you really need to be on top of your numbers.
And it depends on the situation like that. If you got nothing to lose and you're throwing it out there and it all falls apart, then, you know, that's how it is. Sometimes, especially when you're young, you can just roll that dice and go for it. The older you get, the more responsibilities that you have. the harder it can kind of become. So I think take that kind of roll the dice. There you go. You can also be smart about how you want to do this. There's some times where you're like, I just want to go out and find a place. Sometimes there are opportunities where you could test it out. I had a friend start a sandwich shop that's now blown up and big, but he started out by finding a building that was going to get knocked down, demolished, and they just wanted to get someone in there to make a little bit of money for 6 months to a year or whatever it is. So he was paying next to nothing rent and just set up bare minimum, maybe, spent 10 grand or something like that, and just set up a little sandwich shop and just hammered it out and super successful. Now he has like full kit, full setup location. So there's fun ways that you can try it like that. Maybe start it as a pop-up somewhere where it's more affordable, see if people are into it, give it a go.
And we were talking about last week being creative about how you get a space and that sort of thing. So sometimes it just takes starting one.
Yep.
But part two, she asked, how important is a signature drink on your coffee menu? Seems like an important way of attracting clientele and interest. Mont Blanc, a good measure, cold brew, nitro cold brew, Kakako, lychee cold brew at Project Zero. Look forward to hearing content from the podcast, so keep it up. Yeah, I think that one's pretty important. It's a good way to start with a bang and make a statement because it's just a trend that people are going after these days. And sometimes I feel like coffee shops are angling towards being more successful now if you keep your focus quite narrow. So you don't need to have a huge and almost food menu. If you just do your offering and doing it well and have that standout item, could be quite beneficial for you.
I think it's almost, without having something else that does it, I think it's almost like mandatory, especially if you're more on the coffee focus kind of thing. You need to become a destination, a reason for people to come to you and to do it. I actually had my first Mont Blanc, a good measure, the other day. Liam took me down and dude, stands up. It's beautiful. You can tell those guys came from a cocktail making background because it's so well balanced. It's not overpowering. Some of those drinks can be ridiculous, but beautiful kind of orangey Jaffa coffee with that cream layer on top. And it's simple. And those guys on the menu, apart from that, they've got their coffees. Then they've got four sandwiches and some pastries and that at the front. Like it's not a huge offering, but that place is just heaving.
Keep it simple, do it well.
Yeah.
Each one of them have their own kind of character and like reason for being there. It's not just like tick the box. It's like, how can we make this a reason to come?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Especially when the quality of coffee now is at such an all-time high. Obviously, you can be a roaster that's making insane, expensive, crazy coffees, but to be able to just come in and get something that's a little different, something you can kind of talk about, people love it.
I think that's actually a talking point as well. It's like, that's actually so hard to find that point of difference now when everyone is looking to finesse, kind of like build upon like a classic toasty or a classic this and that. There are only so many ways that you can like switch it up. And I think that really shows in Melbourne with like, an espresso martini, like the white chocolate espresso martini, the salted caramel. It's like, how many flavors can we like blend with this, but also make an authentic reason and point of difference?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's tough, but...
And you had an email as well, Rohan, that you were going to read out.
I did. I got an email from Lewis. Now, this is what you love to see. There's a bit of fire, a bit of passion in a young person here. I'm 15 and just started out as a secondary barista. Today, I finished a coffee course, and there was a couple of things I wanted to ask. They wanted to ask. We probably answered, "What are your favorite drinks?" And then they said, "Lol." And I'm too old and out of touch here with this. They said mine is a short Mac. We've talked about this. I don't really have a favorite. I'll drink just double espresso.
15-year-olds drinking a macchiatos.
I was about to
say.
When I got my first coffee job, I remember being like, I could make a milk coffee and be like, okay, maybe have a sugar in it. And I remember like having an espresso and just being like, oh, when I was probably like 17 at the time. So for a 15-year-old to be smashing short Macs, that's epic.
I think I had my first coffee when I was 20. So there you go.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, I think I was 20.
It's crazy when you get late to the party and you just go into that love of it. So what was your favorite drink? Is it filter? What?
Oh, how can you? It depends what mood I'm in.
Yeah.
Pound for pound, probably a flat white.
Yep.
Made well.
Flat white's hard to go past.
Was that all Lewis was asking?
No, there's other questions.
Yeah,
there's more.
Please continue.
Come on, lame man. Come down over there. Any tips, recommendations? I mean, that's the breadth of the question here. I'd love to say hi to you guys and get feedback, but unfortunately, I live in Perth, not Melbourne. I mean, any tips or recommendations? Pretty broad, but I'm assuming you're saying that as a young barista starting out and trying to do that, the best advice you can get is surround yourself with people you look up to, people who are better and great at what they do, and you will just learn. I say, like, I started in a certain cafe, worked there for 2 years and learned X amount about coffee. I then went to 3 bags and learned more about coffee than I learned there in the first week that I was there. And I just kept, the better people you get yourself around, the more and more quickly you're going to learn from that.
For sure. Surround yourself by the best baristas you can possibly be. I would even say if you think it's a career for you, be prepared to move around as well.
Yep.
Like, it could be great for you to move to somewhere like Melbourne or Sydney or even overseas, learn from some other people. And then,
great idea.
There's a lot of people out there, yourself included, who have moved around in their career and learned things. You spend some time in San Francisco, granted in a different industry, but I'm sure that's.
I apply that now to the, that's where all of that Rohan and Brown stuff kind of comes from.
For sure. I'd say be prepared to move around would be if you think it's a career.
Yep. And just always, one of the biggest things that people don't do is ask the hard question. Ask that question. So many people go like, oh, this thing isn't working out for me. Oh, I haven't done this. I'm like, well, did you message this person and ask them if you could go and work there? Did you ask if you could go shadow this barista? Did you ask if you could get on a call? Because 90% out of the time, people are great. People are like, yeah, of course I can help you out. What would you like? So, I mean, you reaching out today is a great example of that.
And it's the ultimate, there's no real apprenticeship in coffee, really. So the best thing you can do is just learn on the job.
Yep.
Just work a lot. And, it's not like you need to practice after hours enormously unless you're doing a competition, but just work in a place where you make lots of coffee.
Yeah.
I was going to add to that, maybe, not just asking what to look for or like the positive side. Ask kind of your mentors what to look for or what not to look for, if that makes sense. Like mistakes, like, what does a bad shot look like for them, and what does I feel like a lot of venues show you this is how we do it, but that they don't highlight the opposite, kind of negative side.
Well, you just got to know the why behind everything, not just put this much coffee in. Why am I putting that much coffee in? Why is the water at this temperature?
I always say to people I'm training, drink your mistakes.
Yeah.
So because then you can kind of learn to appreciate the sun. You got to know what rain is, guys.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
And don't say not drink it as punishment, but for learning.
Yeah. And also one of the things that people often don't do is when they see that like a shot is under or over extracted, they might just turn it off and piff it or like have whatever. If it's too tight and you can see it, run the shot to the full yield and then taste it and go note how long that took. Just take on. Maybe there's characteristics that are interesting that are coming through. Maybe that means that, you want to push that shot a little further or try it. Like that's how you're kind of going to get better, by tasting all those things and understanding the effects.
Would 100% agree.
Yeah. And then on to our last thing here. This is just he's just getting a shout out in there. We'll give the shout out to a coffee shop, Dark Star in Osborne Park in Perth. Now, I think Dark Star is a roaster. He says, really great stuff. WA Latte Art Champion is head barista. Now, if I'm not mistaken, that is Georgia Alice, who we had on the podcast. And I think she works at Runya, but her partner is a roaster. So he's probably at Dark Star. She's at the cafe. I don't know. If it's not them, if they're talking about someone completely different, then
Perth
also
must be
shout
thriving.
out. Thriving.
Yeah.
So shout out for him for Dark Star. He says, thanks for reading. Love your podcast. Really would appreciate some help getting better as I'm a beginner. I struggle a little with controlling my milk stretching, but I think that's just practice. Mate, and they say, I listen to every episode. You guys make it very interesting. Great stuff. For the milk stretching, that's going to be better hands-on. We've got some videos on Golden Brown, but it's all about that feel. It's about being there with someone. I'm sure, just go, if you know Georgia Alice, just go ask her. She'll show you. She's super lovely.
A fair bit of work on George's desk there, Rowan.
And I'm willing to say that they would be more than happy to help you out there. I'm going to put it out there. As I said, ask the hard questions.
I'm all for it.
Yep.
Well, what else we got for this coffee break? I think that's it.
I think that's a great coffee break.
Well, what's the email again? Hello at
itsjustcoffeepod.com. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on TikTok, YouTube. Full episodes, if you're wanting to see our beautiful faces we talk, you can go on the YouTube and kind of see that. We'd love to hear from you. Now, email in your questions. We'll answer them here on Coffee Break. Also, email in your hot takes.
Yep.
You can either write them or send in a video. We might feature the video if you want, or we can just read them out for yourself if you write them in. That's going to be great. And let us know any future guests, any cafes you want us to go visit, anything like that. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for another great coffee break.
Thank you.
We need a good sign off for this. We need like another. We've got like the It's Just Coffee on the other one.
What about in the NFL teams where they have the huddle and it's like, everyone in?
Oh, everyone in?
3, 2, 1, break.
Yeah, I like it.
All right, see you guys.
All right.
Done.
Hey.